Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Quinque from CZT Edna Olveira. I hope I pronounced that at least close. All right, this is a neat tangle, and looking is a don't judge a tangle by its cover. Looking at this one, I thought, oh, that looks like it's probably hard. And then I'm like, well, let's take a look at the step out. And then I'm like, no. And then I tried it and it's like, oh, it's not so hard. So I'm going to share that. All right. This one starts off, and I think I will go diagonal with, or maybe, okay. Yeah, we will. It's a border tangle. So we're going to we're going to just put some dots in. And on my step out, the dots were close together, and it just it creates something different. So I'll share that as we get to it. But I'm going to try to make this bigger. But that's what's also fun is you get to have fun with and play with that kind of stuff. Okay, so 2 rows of dots. Then it doesn't matter where you start. We're going to connect dots, but we're going to connect. I'm just going to start with this first 2. Skip, then the next 2, skip, and then I'm going to go off the page. And then on the second row, it's opposite. So not that first 2, but here, yes. Then once you get 1, then it's the same process. You're skipping 1. Okay, then. Oh, and this too, this part too, I made these big curve lines kind of big. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. It's just the look that you're going to go for. All right, so in these gaps, we're going to put a big curve line, like so, big C-shaped curve line. Oh, actually, I should do them this way. That would be more comfortable. Yes. It doesn't matter. You can play with how far up you want to have this or how low, because we're going to essentially be auraing in this section here. So whatever you want to do. And I'm going off the page there. And then I'm going to turn the tile. Same thing on the other side. And if you need to extend a little bit, right, you can do that. A nice course correction. There we go. And all of a sudden I'm thinking, it looks like maybe a slice of Swiss cheese. Okay. Then, as I mentioned, we're going to create sections in aura in here. So the first section is, on these straight lines that we have. So I'm going to just aura that. And to aura is to outline, as you can see, leaving a little space on either side. And then, and as you can see, they're not exactly lined up, but that doesn't matter. And then we're just going to do a curved line. What is this? A rhombus? This shape? If it was a parallelogram, they'd be going the same direction. Something like that, anyway. But it doesn't matter. Just angle it in. And then aura, whatever curve that it comes up against. So don't worry about things lining up. It all ends up just fine. Okay, and then we'll continue that on all of these. But I found it easiest to, wow. I made that one a little bit different, didn't I? All right, and we'll pretend that would probably end and go up there. Okay. Ugh. Like I said, you might find a different way to make it easy, but I found that just doing that line first was the best. And if you do something like this where you're going off the page, a lot of times will save those for last, because then you get the shape and everything is kind of in your head and in your hand, and then it makes it easier to go, okay. And then there's that. And then deciding, okay, about like that. It works. Okay. Then the next, these, well, these spaces that we have left, we're going to aura all of that. And again, I was starting with these, the straight lines first, and then following the contour or close to it, like that. I find that to be easier than doing the contour part first. But again, up to you. Up to you. And yeah, and so looking at the end result, I was like, oh, that looks it looks difficult ish. And maybe to you it doesn't. But it's just really, really neat. I a lot of times worry about, well, and then when I looked at the initial dots, I'm like, oh, it was just a straight dot grid, not offset in any way. So that was like, okay, that makes me happy. And yeah, and then this part, not as hard as what I was thinking. So now you get to decorate, embellish, whichever way you like to think about it. And I'm just going to show. I really like how in Edna's step out, I like creating this depth. And so what I'm going to do is, and this is on the right side. I don't know if it matters which side you do it. I've come out a little bit, and I'm going to aura about halfway, like so, and then fill that in. Like that. And then, well, and actually I'm going to touch it up a little bit. We use the take off and land concept. So like, taking off here. But then when you come in, if you can have it merge in, that is the best. And luckily it's a fill-in, so you can always go, maybe not make it so thick at first, and then you know shave, using your pen and using the idea of course correcting to adjust. That's the word I'm looking for. To adjust it to your liking. All right, and we're gonna do it on the same side up here. Yeah, so I'm not gonna flip it over because that will just confuse me. This is one of those things that, not being an artist, that doing it's just like, oh, it's I find it completely thrilling because it's like, oh, look at what I can do. Look what I can do with my pen. Oh my goodness. I just find it so fascinating and so cool. And this is just me personally. It's such a nice um, sense of accomplishment. I remember saying early on, I feel like I conquered art class because I remember being, kind of eternally frustrated with, in art class. I have ideas, I'm creative, but having the output be something, with my hands, nah, not so much. And then let's see. So you could continue doing that in all of these boxes if you want. I kind of like what I did on the step out. So I'm going to continue that. And on these ones, I'm just going to put some little straight lines. You could fill them in. Up to you. That's so much of the fun of Zentangle is this. And let's see. I'm just gonna let's thicken this one side on these to kind of go with the other part. Yeah, it's just neat. It is neat indeed. And then, let's see, if, oh, there it is. Oh, and they say if you wanted to continue and do some shading, we could kind of continue this thought. We'll put some graphite in there. And you could bring that. Oh, yeah. In, as much as you want. Oh, and let's do, I like that. So again, just on the side where we added some extra graphite. Oops. I'm just spreading it out a little bit, then we'll take a look. Ooh. And yes, I'm looking. I just thought that was a silly thing to say. I'm looking in the camera, looking at my screen. Oops. Oh, yeah, that looks neat. That looks neat. There's just something different about when you look at it, um, on through your camera. My mom said that when she was in art school, they would take their work and look at it in a mirror and hold it in front of a mirror and look at it, and it just because it gives you a different perspective. So if you're not happy with something, or you just want to, like I said, just give it a try. So, take a picture of it, or go stand in front of a mirror and look at it with just a different set of eyes. Neat tangle, really really neat. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love to have you click like, and feel free to share it and leave comments. If you liked it enough to see more, I would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. In the description section, I have links to the step outs. I always do my own version, and then a link to the originator of the tangle. And I highly recommend always looking at that one, the for more inspiration link, because then you can see the tangle in the artist's hand. They usually have a sample, or two, sometimes more. It just depends, and that way you can just see it, from their perspective. I just think it's important. And below that, links to my website. So if you want to connect, that would be lovely. I do classes, and those are listed on the website. I do them almost twice weekly, or I should say almost 4 times weekly, because each. So, for instance, on Thursdays is Tangle Time Day, and I do 2 sessions. It's the same tangle. We have a good number that come to both, because they can time wise, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And so in every class that I do, I've got into that routine, and I've decided I'm sticking with it. So Thursdays, free classes, as I mentioned, free sessions, and then on Tuesdays I do have one free session a month. It's called Tough Tangle Tuesday, and where we kind of tackle ones that are a little tougher on a number of, one of an or more of a number of levels, and and then I have some that have a fee. So you can check those out on the website. And oh, below that, if you happen to be on Facebook and want to have fun with other Tangle addicts, we would love to have you join us. So there's a link there to, it's a private group. There are, I think I have like 4 statements. I have 2 required questions of those 4, and so those must be answered in order to gain entry. So just so you know. And with that, I think that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.